welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Gina, and today I'm giving you my December TBR, specifically my TBR for 3 of the 5 readathons that I'll be participating in. I'll be participating in the Reindeer Readathon, Christmas Hemisphere games, and Cosyathon. Reindeer Readathon goes from December 1st through December 31st, and that's created by Eric at Break Even Books, and his hosts for the readathon are Hillary, Savvy, Amanda, and Donna Sandoku. I will be on Team Nutcracker, hosted by Donna. The Christmas Hemisphere game goes from the 5th through the 13th, and this pits the Northern Hemisphere readers against the Southern Hemisphere readers. The Northern Hemisphere hosts are, I believe, the creator, Joannotations, Fee, Connor, and Cara. The Southern Hemisphere hosts are Jenna, Eli, Kat, and Mel. The Cosyathon goes from the 1st through the 31st, and that one is hosted by M at Perfect Paperbacks and Merritt on Instagram. All of the links for all of the hosts will be in the description below, so you can go check out their announcement videos and their TBRs and participate with us. The first readathon I will talk about is the Reindeer Readathon. This is a competitive team readathon. So each of the prompts is worth a certain number of points, which means you can't double up. I believe there are 10 prompts, 9 regular prompts, and then there's a couple of bonus prompts. The first prompt is for a one-word title, and for this I'm actually using Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. If you watched my previous video for my TBR for the Bias Breaker Readathon and the Queer Lit Readathon, a couple of these books are doubled up, and this is one of them that I'll be reading for. It's the Bias Breaker group book. Earthlings is a Japanese, I want to say Goodreads said it was like a horror or thriller or something. All I know is that it's about 2 friends, Natsuki and Yu. And Natsuki is not like any other girl. She's either a witch or an alien. And they make a promise to survive no matter what. And years later, as adults, they have to keep that promise. I have no idea where this story is going to go. It sounds like it's going to be weird, and I'm excited about it. The next prompt for Reindeer Readathon is a book with a struggle, and for this one I am reading another book from the other readathon, and that's Shadows Cast by Stars by Katherine Knudsen. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. This book is a young adult dystopian, I want to say. And this one, there is a plague, fitting, right? But the only cure or protection for this plague comes from the blood of Aboriginals. And the girl in the story is a seer and a healer, and has to, I don't know if she has to go into hiding with her family, or they have to try to escape because she's been found out. And this is an Own Voices book, so I'm excited to read that. The next prompt for the Reindeer Readathon is a sequel. And actually, most of the books that I'm reading in December are sequels, because I started way too many series this year that I haven't even come close to finishing, which is fantastic. So, but the sequel specifically for this prompt, I'll be reading The Girl with the Clockwork Collar by Katie Cross. This is the second book in the Steampunk Chronicles. The first book, The Girl in a Steel Corset, followed Finley Jane, I believe her name was, who had, they seemed like powers. There was a darkness inside of her that gave her strength, and she ended up hooking up with a group of outcasts or misfits that also had not necessarily powers but skills, and they were investigating a criminal mastermind and trying to take them down. The second book follows another character in that group of misfits. The next prompt is a book with a map in it. This one, I don't have a specific book for. I've got two options, and I will decide whichever book I feel like reading at the time. Mainly because I'm stuck at making decisions, and I want to read both of these books. I just don't know if I'll be able to get to both of them. One of them is Legendary, the sequel to Caraval, and I'm blanking on who the author is for this. It'll be on the screen here. The other book that I might read for this is Crown of Midnight, the sequel to Throne of Glass, because I started that series as well, and that one's by Sarah J. Maas. And I'm assuming that most people know what that is about, so I'm not going to explain it, because I hear every single person on BookTube talking about Sarah J. Maas and that series. The next prompt is a book with a fox on the cover or fox in the title, and for this I'm finally going to be reading Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. I don't know anything about this book. I don't want to know anything about it other than that it follows a girl who is I might be saying this wrong, gumiho, which is a nine-tailed fox that devours the souls of men or something. And I am excited. I've been excited about this book, and I'm finally getting to it. Though that does mean I'm starting another series. But whatever, it's okay. It'll be fine. Yeah. The next prompt is a book that is intimidating. I'm not sure why this book is intimidating to me. It's the sequel to The Last Magician, called The Devil's Thief by Lisa Maxwell. I gave the first book a 4 stars. I feel like I liked it, but I'm not sure. And I think I was just kind of confused about how to feel. So, and it's a big book, so I'm a little worried that because I was kind of on the fence for a 4-star, that the next book isn't going to grab my attention. But we'll see. Cross our fingers. I enjoy it. The next prompt is a book that is part of your favorite genre, and I am a big paranormal romance fan. And I started this series last month, and this is the second book in the Psy Changeling series by Nalini Singh, Visions of Heat. And this is a shifter romance book between shifters or changelings and a race called the Psy, who kind of remind me of Spock from Star Trek, very logical and no emotions. And the first book was fantastic, so I'm excited to see where they take it. The next prompt is a main character that doesn't fit in, so misfit, outsider, and for this I'm reading the second book in the Daevabad trilogy, Kingdom of Copper, the sequel to City of Brass. I loved City of Brass. So I'm super excited about the Kingdom of Copper, even though I know, I'm pretty as if I remember correctly, it's a ginormous book. I guess not ginormous, it's not like 1,000 pages, but it's over 500, so that's a lot. And there is a Christmas star bonus, which is if you, one of the books on your TBR, for one of the books that fits a normal prompt is over 500 pages, you get extra points for that book. And both The Devil's Thief and The Kingdom of Copper are over 500 books, so I'm good. I got those points. And then there is a Slaying It prompt, bonus prompt, where if you finish all of the prompts as well as the Christmas star, so if I finish all of those books, I can go for the Slaying It prompt, which just means I can read another book for one of the prompts to get those points. The highest point prompt is the Intimidating book, but I really don't feel like reading a second intimidating book in the month of December, so I'm going with the second highest point prompt for that, which is a fox on the cover. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to read. I do have 3 options to choose from here. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie McKessie. I don't know anything about this book other than Murphy Napier talks about it a lot. And so it intrigues me and I want to give it a try. So that is a possibility. I might read Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa, or I might read Red Rising by Pierce Brown. And I believe that might even be a book club pick or a Patreon read or a buddy read for somebody I watched, unless that was this month and I'm getting confused. Maybe for Murphy. It actually, Red Rising might be a book club pick for Murphy's Discord. Otherwise, I know G from Book Roast just read it, and I think she really enjoyed it, if I remember correctly. So I'm torn. But we'll see. Maybe I'll read like the first line or the first chapter of each and go from there on which one I want to pick. That wraps it up for my Reindeer Readathon TBR. For the Christmas Hemisphere games, a couple of the prompts do double up with the Reindeer Readathon. A book with it from a book from a different culture. I'll be using Shadows Cast by Stars by Katherine Knudsen, and the prompt for a mysterious book, I will be using The Starless Sea for that prompt as well. The next prompt is a Christmas book from the opposite side of the world. So I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, so I needed a summer Christmas book. So a Christmas book that takes place in Australia or New Zealand. I did finally found one that was available on Scribd, and it's called 12 Days of Christmas. If I remember correctly, it might not be, but I think it's kind of like a Groundhog's Day kind of situation, and that's by Juliet Madison. And it's going to make me super, super jealous because we'll probably get snow here in Wisconsin, and I'd much rather be on the beach in the warmth. So it's going to make me sad. But I will enjoy it. Maybe I can just picture myself on the beach. The next prompt for Christmas Hemisphere games is a book with a dark cover. And for that, I'm going to read the second book in the 3 Dark Crown series, One Dark Throne by Kendar Blake. 3 Dark Crowns was about 3 sisters, and only one can take the throne. They were separated at a young age, and raised by different factions with different powers or abilities, and they are going to have to apparently try to kill each other because only one can take the throne and the rest of them can't live for whatever reason. The next book for the Hemisphere games is a cozy read, and for that, the newest Terry Spear book, Joy to the Wolves. It's a shifter romance, which, as I've said before, I am totally here for, and I've been waiting. I binge read all of Terry Spear's books at the beginning of the year, as many as I could find, and so I'm excited for this. The last book on the Christmas Hemisphere readathon is a book that mostly takes place indoors. And for this, I chose Everything, Everything by Nicola Yoon. And I believe that the main character suffers from agoraphobia or something, where she can't leave her house. And so I'm assuming most of it takes place in her house. Cross your fingers. The Cosyathon, all of the books for the Cosyathon are ones we already talked about because I was able to just use books I'd already picked for these prompts. I am participating with Team of Christmas Past, Ghosts of Christmas Past. The first prompt is set in winter, and I'll be using Joy to the Wolves by Terry Spear for this prompt. The prompt Made into Movies, I'll use Everything, Everything by Nicola Yoon. And a book set in the past, I am going to use The Girl with the Clockwork Collar, because it's Victorian England. The last thing on my TBR for December, I'm also participating in the Binging Bridgerton read-along, and I'll put all their links below for that too. We read the first 3 books in November for that. I can't think of her name. Her channel's Peace Love Books, and then there's Chris with Chris and Books and Chris, and a few other people, but I'll put their links in the bottom. I believe we're reading the next 4 in December in preparation for the Netflix series to come out. But the next 4 in order are Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, To Sir Philip with Love, When He Was Wicked, and It's in His Kiss, all of course by Julia Quinn. If I'm crazy enough, or somehow manage to get through all 4 of those, I might try to fit in the 5th one just to finish it, which is On the Way to the Wedding, but we'll see. I might push that back till January. And that brings me to a total of, if I read all 5 of the Julia Quinn books, that'll be a total of 26 books for the month of December over all 5 readathons. And honestly, it's totally doable. I've been trying to get that number down to 20 a month, but it is what it is. I'm sure it'll be fine, and I'll have a fantastic time, and I will tell you all about it later. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. I would love it if you would subscribe and watch some future videos, and leave a comment below if you loved any of these books I'm going to read, or if you hated any of the books on my TBR. I'd love to chat.